I'm Larry Richardson, your step-by-step chef. In this episode, we're going to make an easy dish that is also one that so many people find very comforting. It is tuna noodle casserole. It's easy, it's delicious, and it's pretty nutritious too. So come on, let's cook. And here are the ingredients for our tuna noodle casserole. First of all, we're going to use about 12 ounces of that 16-ounce bag of egg noodles. So just about 12 ounces will be just fine. We're going to use this small can of pre-cut mushrooms. We have two 5-ounce cans of chunk light tuna in water. Some people like it in oil, I like it in water. We have 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup, and those are 10-ounce cans, just over 10 ounces. And I actually bought one to treat myself that has a little bit of a garlic taste to it, so that should be delicious. We have 3/4 of a cup of frozen peas. We're going to use 1/4 of a cup of this onion minced. That's a sweet onion. You can use yellow or white, that's fine too. We're going to use 1/4 cup of minced celery too. It adds a little bit of a freshness to the dish. And here's how we're going to make our breadcrumbs. We're going to use these 2 very well toasted pieces of wheat toast. I have 3 tablespoons of butter, and we're going to use some of that black pepper, and that's what we're going to top our casserole with before we bake it. So let me show you how to put all this together. Now the ingredient preparation is so fast with this dish that you should already be starting to prepare the hot water for your noodles. And we're going to make the noodles al dente. So whatever your package of noodles recommends to make it al dente, which just means not overcooked. They still have a little bit of stiffness to them. Start making that now. And in the meantime, what we're going to do is just prepare our breadcrumb topping. And really, when I was a kid, we didn't have food processors, so all we did is take the breadcrumbs and just keep cutting them with a knife until they got finer and finer. And it doesn't matter if there's some, little lumps of bread in it, that's just fine. That's what breadcrumbs were back in the day. But I have this food processor. It's a little bit faster for me to work with. So I'm just going to run it through fast with this. And I'll show you what the fine consistency looks like. One thing I do recommend when you're working with toast is let it cool down before you do this. Let all the moisture escape, and that way it won't be as sticky when you're trying to process it. Just putting my lid on. Oops. There we go. And then just give it a nice okay, that's it. So let me show you what it looks like. Just drop them down, get them down like that. Those are delicious breadcrumbs, perfect for this dish. I'm setting that aside and we're going to work with them in a couple of minutes. Okay, so I put our mushroom soup, cream of mushroom soup, into this bowl already, this mixing bowl. And now I'm just going to add our mushroom pieces. And I did drain the water out of this. And our tuna. And I did drain the water out of this too. Just stir that in. Give it a light stir. You don't want the tuna to break down too much. Now we have our celery. And just cut this up the middle, lengthwise. And then just give it a good mincing. You don't want huge pieces of celery in this. Okay, so there's our 1/4 cup of celery. And just put that right in the bowl. And now we'll mince our onion. So just cutting one end off of it. And then just peeling off the skin. And then we're just going to cut the top in these little lines. And I'm going perpendicular to the lines that I first cut. So I'm forming these little squares on the top of the onion. And then I just cut down the face of the onion. Here's our 1/4 cup of onion. And if some larger pieces got by, just set those aside. There's plenty of onion here. And now we're just going to stir the peas in. Just get it to a nice consistency. Nice and even. Okay. And while our noodles are cooking, we're just going to mix up our breadcrumb mix. So here's our butter. Get that all melted down. And then we're just going to pour the crumbs right into it and just work them together. Nothing too complicated. Add a little bit of the pepper to it. You can add a little salt to it too if you like. So this pan was preheated over medium. Just put these right in. Just get the butter worked into it. You don't want it to be too soggy or anything, but this will help it to crisp up nicely in the oven. And here's our black pepper. Let's just stir that in a little bit with it. And then we can set these aside. Now some people do use commercial breadcrumbs in their casserole, their tuna noodle casserole. It does make it easier and quicker. I just like the fresher taste of my own breadcrumbs. Now here are our noodles. They were cooked al dente. And I certainly strained the water out of them. Let's see what that mixture looks like. Now just stir it all together. And I have a little bit of noodle set aside. I just want to see how it all mixes together before I decide whether to add the rest of the noodles. That's actually a pretty good consistency. You can still see some of the noodle in it. It's not too wet, not too dry. So I think I'm going to leave it just like that. Now what I'm going to do is take a baking dish. And you can use a pan too. And I'm just going to spray it with this nonstick spray. You can also grease it with butter if you want. And we're just going to put this tuna noodle casserole into this baking dish. Okay, just like that. And then what we do is just spread our breadcrumbs over the top. Some people use, some people might use potato chips on this. People use all kinds of different things in this dish. It's been around so long that it's kind of fun to make it your way after you've made it a couple of times. I'm sure you're going to come up with some ingredients I haven't even thought of to include in it. Okay, so there's a nice layer of breadcrumbs on top. Just add a few more. And this is going in the oven, center position, for between 20 and 30 minutes. I want this to get nice and crispy on top. So I'll be back then and I'll show you what it looks like. So congratulations, look at what you just did. You just made this delicious tuna noodle casserole. You can't beat this for comfort food. An awful lot of us grew up on this, and it does take me back, and it does calm me down. A nice bowl of steaming hot tuna noodle casserole. Now, if you like this, please visit my website, stepbystepchef.com. There you're going to find a free printable recipe for this dish. You're also going to find printable recipes for over 150 other dishes that come also with free video links. So it'll be you and I cooking together 150 times. Doesn't that sound fun? Okay, it will be. Trust me, they're a blast. I love making these videos with you. The other thing you're going to find is my cookbook, Cooking with the Step-by-Step Chef. Now, every November, I will update this with the previous year's recipes. So right now, this book stands at 114. Next November is probably going to have 5 million recipes. I have that kind of time on my hands. So anyways, I do hope you'll take a look. It makes a great gift, absolutely great gift, and I think you'll enjoy it too. So again, my name's Larry Richardson. I am your step-by-step chef, and I'll see you on the next episode.